love isn't just personal, it shapes communities, friendships, and the places we call home. When most people hear the word love, they think about romance. They think about couples, holidays, traditions, and all the familiar images that come with February. But love is bigger than that. Love is a civic emotion. It's the force that shapes neighborhoods. It's the energy that builds friendships. It's the glue that holds communities together. And it's the quiet, everyday generosity that makes life feel livable. And when we talk about connection, real connection, we're not just talking about relationships between two people. We're talking about the emotional fabric that ties all of us together. Because the truth is this: the way we love each other determines the kind of world we live in. Think about the places where you felt most at home. Not just physically, but emotionally. Places where people looked out for one another. Places where kindness wasn't rare. And places where you felt safe to be yourself. Those places weren't built by policies or programs. They were built by people. People who cared. People who showed up. And people who practiced love in small, consistent ways. A neighbor who checks on you. A friend who remembers your story. A teacher who sees your potential. Or a coworker who makes space for your humanity. Maybe a stranger who chooses kindness when they didn't have to. That's civic love. That's community love. That's the kind of love that shapes the emotional climate of a place. And here's the part we don't talk about enough. You don't need a romantic relationship to experience love. You don't need a partner to feel connected. You don't need a holiday to remind you that you matter. Because love is already happening all around you. In friendships and in community and in the quiet ways people care for one another without calling it love. But here's a challenge. We live in a world that often reduces love to a single expression. A world that tells us love is something you celebrate on one day with one person in one specific way. And when that's the only definition we're given, we miss the bigger picture. We miss the ways love shows up in our daily lives. We miss the ways we're already connected, and we miss the ways we're already held. So in this final episode of the Valentine's Arc, I want to widen the lens. I want to invite you to see love not as a private emotion, but as a public one. Not as something that belongs to couples, but as something that belongs to all of us. Because when you start to see love as a civic force, everything changes. You start to notice the kindness in your community. You start to appreciate the people who make your life easier. You start to recognize the emotional labor that keeps relationships alive. And you start to understand that belonging isn't built by grand gestures. It's built by small, consistent acts of care. And here's the beautiful part. You are a part of that fabric. Your presence, your kindness, your generosity. They shape the emotional climate of the spaces you move through. So every time you listen without judgment, and every time you offer encouragement, every time you show patience, and every time you choose compassion over convenience, you're practicing civic love. You're contributing to the emotional health of your community. You're making the world around you softer, safer, and more human. So as we choose this Valentine's arc, I want to leave you with a simple truth. Love is not limited to romance, and love is not limited to tradition. Love is not limited to February 14th. Love is a way of moving through the world, a way of seeing people, a way of showing up, a way of building the kind of community where everyone feels like they belong. And you, just by being who you are part of that work. So as we step into the rest of this season of connection, remember this. You don't have to wait for a holiday to practice love. You don't have to wait for a relationship to feel connected. And you don't have to wait for permission to care, because love is already in you. Love is already around you. And love in all its forms is what makes us human. I'm so glad you're here, and let's keep walking through this season together. Now you take care and stay connected.